So currently in the Holiday Cup, basically no ground type Pokemon are available, and so today we're going to take a look at a very fast team for you to also get your battles done quick, which especially in an interlude season like right now, it's kind of nice. But we're also going to take a look at Shadow Golurk, a Pokemon that is going to benefit quite a bit from the fact that nobody really expects ground types in this meta. And yeah, we're going to have a very more toxic team, but look at this damage by the way. Golurk just destroys a Golem, which is a Pokemon that is already quite spicy in like 2 fast moves. But generally, we're going to have here a team that's going to be quite fast. I am going to have the Wigglytuff in the lead, the Sasop of the Morpeko, and in the back, the Golurk. What I have to say is I'm not too sure if I'm too happy with Morpeko's Sasop now in hindsight. What I actually wanted to use first, but then decided against it, was actually the Annihilate. Now, thinking about it, I would rather go back to Annihilate over the Morpeko. That is my honest thoughts about it. But that doesn't mean that Morpeko was bad by any means or whatever, but I do think that most likely the Annihilate would have more play here. But that being said as well, here we're going to have a matchup against the Skeledirge, a Pokemon that I only recently showcased on the channel. And we will see as well, while this Pokemon is quite tough to deal with, we are going to be in an okay spot. We can debuff them, the opponent actually lets them move go immediately, and we just win the first battle and move on to the next opponent. And this is actually the specific Pokemon why I didn't want to have the Sasop of the Annihilate. It is, of course, that, Dual-Blade, but now thinking about it, it doesn't make sense to have Morpeko instead, because Morpeko has very much the same issue compared to the Annihilate, because basically, yeah, Annihilate is going to be a bit tough because you're going to take super effective damage from them. They are taking resistant damage from you unless you go for the Rage Fist, but they're going to outspeed you. But here for the Morpeko, because he uses it as a Sasop, the opponent is going to outspeed you anyway as well, so it's not a good matchup no matter what. And so actually now thinking about it, I think Annihilate is just better for this team. If you want to have a very nice fast team, Annihilate is definitely better. And for me, actually, in this team, the best Pokemon that I used is actually that Golurk, which is kind of cool. Golurk is such a good Pokemon in the current meta. There are a lot of targets. Dual-Blade, of course, one of them. Dunsparce is another one as well. Like Dunsparce you can deal with as well, as we're going to see here. The Dynamic Punch is coming through. This would one-shot the opponent quite easily from this range. It does one-shot them. And we're going to see here the Dual-Blade coming back in, which you can just... Oh, I want to farm them down. But that was actually a mistake now. I'm going to still be able to win, but I should win for the charge move, which would have guaranteed me the victory immediately. Alright, we're going to have the Annihilate, and here's the main reason why I would have rather had the Annihilate in the back instead of the Morpeko. There have been, like basically 90% of the times here, today, the normal types as the Sasop, and we don't really have the craziest answer for them. Like, I don't have the craziest answer for this issue here, but that being said, it's still going to be okay to deal with them. Here, usually I decide to just debuff them first and then go into Morpeko, which then can take 2 body stamps, which is going to be an alright matchup. But it needs to have like some kind of team effort, because now the opponent just gets too fast to the Shadow Ball in order for me to not being able to use anymore my other Pokemon as a Sasop. Or like as an answer for it, my Golurk is just going to go down to 1 Shadow Ball, and they outspeeding us, so like it's a bit more awkward there. If you would have Annihilate, you would be in such a better spot, and that is something that, yeah, is a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying, but let's take a look here now at the next opponent. There's going to be a Wigglytuff against us. That is going to be interesting. There's going to be the Icy Wind coming through from the opponent, and we're going to try our best here to get even more damage in against them, and we should be able to go for the full farm down, leaving here with quite a bit of, energy still on our Pokemon, as we are going to be able to go for a charge move here. This is going to be fine. We're going to have the Annihilate going down to the Shadow Punch of the Shadow Golurk, and with that we are going to be able to win this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we face off against a Licky. That is going to be an interesting one as well here. We're going to have the Wigglytuff coming in, and we can go for the charge move here. The Aura Reel is coming through. This is going to be okay. Aura Reel is going to get shielded by us, and as we will see, we're going to have here the charge move coming in. This is going to be fine. This is going to be, at the end of the day, the Psychic Fangs getting a little bit of damage onto them. I have a shield advantage. I am going to be able to just let the move go. They have to hope they can somehow win with a Golurk against the opponent here. So the Swift is coming through. This is totally okay. We can go for the full farm down. By the way, I went way positive with this team. I think I went around 8 and 5 with this team. I think I did. So, like, this team was very, very solid. And again, I do think I would have had quite a few more wins if I had Annihilate instead of the Morpeko. And that is already on a very high level. Like, this team definitely does climb quite a bit. I think it like hidden the elo or whatever, which is also currently I think I'm like at 2,600, 2,700 without even trying. It's kind of funny. But yeah, as you'll see here as well, the opponent's gonna catch the move from our Golurk. I have literally no reason to panic here because I have so much energy. I am going to be able to go for another 2 shadow punches against the opponent anyway. And as you see, 1 is already enough to knock them out. And we can move on to the next opponent. We face off against the Stunfisk. We have a very good answer in the back, but what I kind of would love to do here in this scenario is try to force them to swap out. And that's why I decided to use a shield early, because what I can do now is I can go for the super effective Icy Wind, which is going to be okay for me at this point. This is going to allow me to get the debuff onto them, but also I get the shield, and I was just hoping that eventually they decide to swap out, and they do exactly this, which now means I can go to my Morpeko. I should have very likely just stayed in and went for an Icy Wind first, though. I think it's a mistake to not go for the Icy Wind first. While I can actually not survive 2 base stamps really. Like I can still take 1 in theory, but it's not going to be working out that well for me. So yeah, I sure went for the Icy Wind first. This is a bit of a mistake here in this gameplay. This would have allowed me to put them also into range for 1 hour wheel to knock them out, which is not the case now anymore. And that can be a bit more awkward. I can go for another Psychic Fangs on the CMP here though. That's going to be okay. So I either get the shield back from the opponent, or I am going to be able to leave here with a boost on my attack as well as a little bit of energy. And I swap out straight away. They try to snipe me. I can go to my Wigglytuff to catch the Mud Bomb. And I have the Icy Wind as they still get another move. I would have liked to have of course, my other Pokemon aligned, my Golurk, but they swap out anyway into the Ferret. But Ferret is not the Pokemon that I want to face. In hindsight, if I would have played this out the way I just was talking about, I would have been absolutely in a better spot. I should have just went ahead and, went for the Icy Wind first before swapping, because then I would have won this battle very likely. Now, I am going to be forced to take the Trailblaze. This Trailblaze is very likely just enough to knock me out. Yeah, that's going to be a good game there. That was close, but I feel like that was winnable if I played better. So this game was an interesting one. We see the Licky come in again. That's what I mean. Basically, if I would have just the Shadow Annihilate as my Say-Stop, which I really had in there before in this team, and then decided I just don't really want to be that weak against U-Blade, I would have been in such a better spot. Like, this team would have been 20 times better if I just had that, because I had an answer then against all of the normal type Pokemon. So if I was you, I would actually just decide to go ahead and try to run a fighting type Pokemon in the back. And that being said, I'm actually kind of intrigued on which other fighting type Pokemon are allowed in this meta, because I feel like that they are very important right now. There are a lot of Pokemon that I still want to take a look at in this meta as well. But fighting type Pokemon, we have Annihilate, we have Raikou, has at least the coverage of Aura Sphere, which is kind of cool, but doesn't knock them out anyway. As a counter user, we have Obstagoon still, which is not a fighting type directly. Palmo, which I think I showcased before. Or was it for the last cup? Could be also for the last cup. It was, I think, for the last cup. Palmo is a very good Pokemon generally, but it's also not having fighting type fast move coverage. And then we are looking at, I don't know, the Decidueye has Aura Sphere, gets there quite fast, and could be actually kind of cool in this meta if it can one-shot some of the Pokemon, which I doubt it can. So yeah, there are not really a lot of good fighting type Pokemon other than the Annihilate. And that's kind of interesting. There's really no good fighting type Pokemon. So yeah, this is kind of your only option here as a Say-Stop. And here, while this battle is actually still going to be close, and why this battle could have been very tough as well, is because they're actually running Peck as a fast move. The difference is that they do actually quite a lot of solid damage here against us, which is awkward, but luckily I can still get to the Swift. At this point I know I won the battle. If I didn't get to the Swift, I would have lost very likely, because I doubt that the charge move here would have done enough damage, but now the Shadow Punch that we were storing up earlier is going to come in clutch, and we are going to be able to win this battle. So good game to the opponent, and we can move on to the next one, where we will face off against one of the worst possible leads. I can stop out of here. Skeletor, of course, is kind of... Skeletor is another reason why I wanted to go for the Morpeko Say-Stop instead of going for my other one, just because you're going to have way more play here. You're going to generally, I think, win usually with your Morpeko as well. I think there's really... Okay, never mind. They actually do win, I think, in the 2 shields here. So yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, what I did here is I didn't want to risk that they could farm me down here, maybe even with another fast move. I want to see if this actually worked out for them. They did not, so I should have played a bit differently, but it doesn't matter that much at all, actually. So yeah, now they're going to be up against our Golurk. I hope I can go for the full farm down. Turns out the Torch Song is going to just be a bit too much for us, and they are going to be able to knock us out here again. And what we see here is that the opponent and this is the thing as well, is actually going to sweep me with just one Pokemon and my entire team goes down. They didn't even swap out a single time. And I have those gameplays sometimes as well. I'm like, oh, that's a cool shot. But this actually happened against me now because his team was too weak against the Skeldritch in that scenario, which is hilarious. And I want to keep it in because, of course, that's like, I don't really cut out like losses or whatever on this channel, as you know already at this point as well. And losses are important to learn from. And for example, now you learn from, if you're going to encounter Skeldritch in the lead, it's going to be a bit tough with this team. Of course, doesn't really help that I literally just made a video about the Skeldritch lead team, so that's most likely also why people maybe have been running it before I haven't seen this Pokemon at all. Now people are kind of catching up on it as well, which is cool though. Like, that's the thing as well. I always like to see it when people are running my teams and having success with it. I love that. Of course, this player could have a completely different team because we only saw the first Pokemon. But yeah, I know a lot of people are trying to copy the teams and trying to see if they have success with that. And that's why this channel is here, to be fair. Like, I cannot have this channel here for you in order to help you on your Go Battle League journey. Of course, this journey, this season is quite, I know, easier because it's a interlude season. But I still hope it's gonna help you, the content that I create here for you. And as we'll see, we're going to have the Wiggly Tough stopping in. We're going to have up now the Diggersby against the opponent. That is going to be fine. The Fire Punch is coming through. It's not going to do enough, and they have the Talonflame in the back. Talonflame is a bit tough for this team as well, by the way. This is where also, again, the Annihilate would have been struggling even further. But yeah, like even here, this team is still going to be quite weak to Talonflame. I would need to catch a move in order to win this battle. The Flame Shot is coming through. It is going to boost its own attack. I'm forced to kind of go for the move here straight away because I expect that they have their move now already, I think. But I'm going to go for the fast move and I try to catch the move. I wanted to wait out a turn as well, but I guess I didn't do it correctly here. But even with this, I know already that I had a 0 chance of winning this one. And that's fine. It is what it is, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face off against the Ninetales. The alone Ninetales from the opponent is going to be up here now. This is a Pokemon, again, that is alright for me right now in this scenario, but in the back it's actually really tough to deal with. We're going to have here 2 Pokemon in the back that are going to be weak to either Ice or the Fairy type damage, but a lot of times they're just running Powder Snow and Weather Ball in order to spam those moves. But I think the Ninetales is actually a very interesting Pokemon. It was actually one of the most broken Pokemon back in the day, and then it just kind of disappeared. I'm curious on how strong it is nowadays. I kind of want to make a team around it, but I feel like it's very tough to build a team around an Ice and Fairy type Pokemon. I think it's quite a bit of a tough one to do. So I have to see towards that. We will have here though. Now the Licky going for the Body Slam, I was able to catch the move onto my Golurk, and they reveal that they have in the back here the Talonflame, where I can at least still go for a charge move. I need 3 more moves to get to another charge move on my Golurk here as well, but I'm very certain we are not going to be able to get there in time. If I would have got this move off, it would have been absolutely perfect. I can shield up the move now from the opponent, and I can try my best to get to another move in time. As I go for the Flame Charge, I can go for the Psychic Fangs here. Very likely getting the shield because I know that they're going to get my final shield as well as they get a ton of damage in. And yes, that works out quite well. But what we have here as well, we have to kind of try to go for the full farm down. I know now that as long as I knock out whatever they have in the back there with my other charge move, I will be kind of fine here. They swap back into the Licky, which is our final Pokemon. I can boost my own attack up with the Aura Wheel, and now I just need one more fast move to knock out the opponent, and I will be able to win this battle against that Shadow Talonflame. Final battle for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video so far. We're going to have the Wigglytuff against our Licky. Our Wigglytuff against the opponent's Licky. Licky is honestly such a cool Pokemon. It's such a winner of the season. Like, really, it's such a winner of the season because the Shadow Ball coverage makes this Pokemon so much nicer, so much better, so much stronger. It is absolutely worth it, by the way, to build yourself a Licky. As we have Doublette against us. This time around, though, we have an energy advantage, which is what we kind of needed here. This is going to be fine because now we can guarantee a Liner Cells. And I could just use a shield and fully farm them down. I don't really care too much about it. I don't think there's a point of letting my Morpeko go down at this point of time. And we're gonna get up to nearly another Aura Wheel. We're just one away. We're gonna see the swap out into the Licky. I know that I take a hit here unless they have an Earthquake as well, which nobody is currently running. And so we can go for the Aura Wheel, which is going to be enough to knock out the opponent. This is going to be fine here, as we are going to see as well. This is going to allow us to knock them out. They're going to go into the Wigglytuff, and we will have here now our own Wigglytuff. The thing is, they have Icy Wind, and the only way that I will lose this is if they decide to go for the full farm down here, but instead they decide to go for their own charge move, which means I win immediately, as now I can just Mud Slap them down. And this is going to be it for this video. Very fast, toxic team. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.